Moscow.
And we can speak now to Fredrik Wesslau, who's director of the wider Europe programme at the European Council on Foreign Relations. He joins me now via webcam from Moscow, where he's visiting scholar at the Carnegie Moscow Center. Welcome to the programme. Are Russia's intentions becoming any clearer?
Well, I mean, I think it's clear from the very beginning that Russia is using this campaign to prop up President Assad of Syria. I mean, the past few months, Assad's forces have suffered some tactical losses on the battlefield. So Russia felt it was necessary to step in and turn the tide of war on the battlefield in order to shore up Assad.
And why launch missiles from the Caspian Sea when it clearly has other options available to it?
Well, I think what we saw today, I mean, it's quite questionable whether it actually had any real tactical value. I think it was much more about a demonstration of force, you know, Russia wanting to show the US, the world, its own population, that it can go out of its own immediate neighborhood to fight wars in the same way that the US does, that the UK and France does. So this is very much a demonstration of force by Russia.
There's some suggestion that US forces and Russian forces have had to coordinate with each other so as not to occupy the same airspace. That sounds quite a surprising revelation, if true, doesn't it?
Well, it's not that surprising because this coordination is a sort of technical coordination. They're called deconfliction talks, which basically are meant to ensure that, you know, when you have Russian jets and American jets flying in the same airspace, that they don't, you know, fly into each other. So these talks are very much at a technical level. I think, you know, what we heard from the US Secretary of Defense today was that there was no cooperation between the US and Russia on this, except for these deconfliction talks.
And no prospect of any coordination at that level, diplomatically, either?
No, I don't see that for the moment anyway. I mean, the US has been very clear in saying that as long as Russia targets groups besides ISIS, there won't be any cooperation from the US side forthcoming.
Right, but the suggestion is that it's not simply doing that, simply by the geography of the targets that it's hitting.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's clear that Russia is targeting basically all groups that are opposed to Assad. So despite what rhetoric is coming out from Moscow, this is not an anti-ISIS campaign, this is a pro-Assad campaign. And
the concern really is in the longer term that there is potential for a conflict diplomatically or otherwise between the US and Russia.
Sure. I mean, you know, I think we saw today that tensions are increasing. And I also think that Russia has an interest to some extent to raise the stakes, to increase tensions, because this is also a way to show that it's a power to be reckoned with, basically.
Fredrik Wesslau, thank you very much indeed.